Welcome, focused learners, to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to share today's topic with you, mostly because it tackles one of the absolute most frustrating bottlenecks in the modern tech world right now. Today, we're diving into a brilliantly structured concept called the Human Digital Creation Engine. Listen, if you're an entrepreneur, a creator, maybe a real estate operator with massive ideas, but you aren't exactly a software developer, you are in the right place. We're going to break down exactly how you can build really complex, fully functioning digital systems without ever needing to become a coder yourself. It's a total game changer.
So tell me if you've ever been here. You have this brilliant idea. You know exactly what you want the system to do, and you can picture the outcome perfectly in your head. But the very second you start actually building it with AI, things just go completely sideways. It's this phenomenon we call AI drift. You move too fast without structure, and it just leads to sheer chaos. I'm talking duplicate files, broken workflow nodes, accidentally overwritten data, and literally losing your source of truth. It is insanely frustrating. But as we're going to see today, it's also completely solvable.
Okay, here's our roadmap for the explainer today. The digital building problem, the creation engine, specialized engine cards, guardrails and confirmation, the MLS prototype layer, and finally, one step at a time. Let's jump in.
Starting with Section 1, the digital building problem, specifically AI without structure.
Okay, let's really look at the core issue non-coders run into when their ideas just expand a little too quickly. On one hand, you have the total nightmare scenario, right? The messy build. You plug in a tool here, you have the AI generate a script there, and suddenly, you've completely lost your weekend trying to untangle broken nodes and recover overwritten files. On the other hand, you have the controlled build. This is where you rely on solid source of truth documents, crystal clear logic, actual human confirmation, and safe backups. What we're talking about today is literally the bridge to get you from that messy nightmare to that pristine, controlled state.
Moving right along to Section 2, the creation engine, your reliable guide.
So what exactly is this thing? Well, first off, the Human Digital Creation Engine isn't some standalone app that you just go download. Instead, think of it as a documentation-based operating system. It's a highly structured methodology for taking your raw ideas and turning them into working systems. You are the one providing the context, the goals, and the human judgment. The engine acts as your structured AI partner, bringing you the blueprints, the connection steps, the code support, and the validation checks. I want you to really let this foundational quote sink in. The goal is not to make the user become a software developer. I absolutely love this because it is just so empowering. You do not need to learn coding syntax. You don't need to memorize how to write JavaScript or Python. Your only job is to describe the outcome you want and strictly manage the guardrails. The system does the heavy lifting, but entirely under your direct supervision.
All right, Section 3, specialized engine cards, targeted AI jobs. Let's look at how this actually works in practice. The engine doesn't just try to do everything all at once. Instead, it uses these specialized engine cards. You can kind of think of these as a menu of highly specific, totally separated jobs. So you've got an engine just for controlling the project, another one just for system architecture, one strictly for writing code, one for debugging, and so on. By forcing the AI to wear only one very specific hat at a time, we basically stop it from guessing, hallucinating, or drifting off topic.
And to put those cards into action, we follow a very standard build process. You kick things off with project control, so you know exactly where all your files live. Next, architecture designs the absolute simplest working blueprint, which stops you from overbuilding right out of the gate. Only after that do you use the connection engine to safely map things out, followed by the code engine for full code replacements. And hey, if something breaks, the debug engine steps in to fix just one tiny thing at a time. It is a wonderfully methodical flow from raw idea to totally safe execution.
Which perfectly tees up Section 4, guardrails and confirmation, the safety net. This brings us to a super critical reality of working with AI, beautifully summed up here. AI can help create, code, connect, debug, and document, but it should not operate without guardrails. Look, AI is an unbelievable assistant, but without strict boundaries, it'll invent facts, it'll happily overwrite your hard work, or it'll connect live data paths way before you're ready. It absolutely must have guardrails, things like clearly defined inputs, forbidden actions, and strict rules for formatting.
And the absolute most important guardrail of the whole shebang is human confirmation. This is the hard and fast rule that the engine cannot make a risky change without visual proof. The system will literally pause and ask you for a screenshot of your workspace.
You review it, you manually approve it, and only then do we move forward. This guarantees that your perfectly worded language or your functioning workflow paths are never accidentally wiped out.
Let's make this concrete in Section 5, the MLS prototype layer, a real use case.
So let's ground all this theory by looking at a really fascinating real-world prototype that is actively being stabilized by this exact engine right now. It's a real estate MLS market intelligence system. Basically, it takes raw property data, normalizes it, and uses AI to generate market summaries and social captions. And the best part? It's built using really practical, everyday tools. We're talking Google Sheets as the data hub, N8N for the workflow automation, and Google Drive keeping strict backup logs.
Now notice how the engine strictly separates the project here. This is to stop the builder from getting totally overwhelmed. The active scope is laser-focused. Just import the data, generate the content, protect it with approvals, and export it. That's it. Everything else, like pulling in CRM activity or automatically publishing to social media, is clearly documented as out of scope for now. This keeps the project from turning into a tangled mess. You are only ever building the layer you are currently focused on. And finally, Section 6. One step at a time, the core promise.
If you take away just one thing today, make it this core mantra. One step, one engine, one confirmed change at a time. I know. It might sound a little slow at first, but by slowing down, documenting your source of truth, and enforcing those visual confirmations, you actually dramatically speed up your overall build. Because guess what? You never have to spend 8 hours untangling broken code or crying over lost data. You build it safely, and you build it right the first time.
Which leaves us with this final thought. You really don't need to be a coder to build incredible, complex things anymore. You just need structure, a reliable source of truth, and the discipline to manage your AI partner. So I have to ask, what digital system are you going to build next, now that you have a structured engine and actual guardrails to safely guide you? I really hope you're walking away from this explainer feeling grounded, motivated, and just ready to start planning, completely free from the fear of coding or digital chaos. Thanks so much for learning with me today.